Good evening and welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Tonight, Salman Khan is the proverbial bad boy of Bollywood. From allegedly running over pavement dwellers for which he was let off, to allegedly killing endangered black bucks, to widespread outrage today over his comments on rape. In an interview, Salman has said that his tough shoot for his new film left him feeling like a raped woman because he couldn't walk straight after filming some rigorous wrestling scenes. Poor Salman Khan. He is, after all, as Subhash Ghai said in his defense, just a child. Yes, a 50-year-old child. A child whose father has tweeted an apology while he himself has remained silent. Bollywood too seems to have lost its tongue, with very few voices speaking out against Salman's comments. Should Salman Khan apologize for trivialising rape?
जब शूटिंग करते हैं तो वो 6 घंटे जो उठापटक होता है, that is unbelievable. So if I've got to pick up a 120 kilo person and drop him down, I've got to do it 10 times. In the wrestling match, it happens once, twice. 10 times from 5 different angles. So for 6.5, 7 hours, either I'm picking up and I'm throwing, or he's picking him up and he's throwing. So it is like the most difficult thing. When I used to walk out of that ring, it used to be actually like a raped woman walking out.
Salman wrestling with controversy after this comment where he compared his wrestling scenes for the film Sultan to a woman who has been raped. The actor claims he retracted his statement almost immediately, but it was too late. His words had gone viral and outrage was pouring in.
Salman must be condemned for his statement and he must apologize.
The apology came, but it was from the actor's father, veteran scriptwriter Salman Khan. The rest of the industry chose to remain silent. Some who did speak had this bizarre defense.
He's a child, and I know one thing, Salman respects women like anything.
The NCP's women's wing protested outside the actor's residence, and the National Commission for Women has asked him to issue an apology in the next 1 week. But for now, Salman, who is off to Spain for an awards weekend, has decided to not comment anymore. NDTV Bureau Report.
Well, truly a spectacular defense there by filmmaker Subhash Ghai. One wonders whether the original comments were as distasteful as that defense was. Joining us on the program tonight, Shaina NC, who is a friend of Salman Khan's and has been for a very long time. Anna Vetikar, film critic and columnist, joins us this evening. Actor Nagma also has known Salman very well and joins us this evening. Nagma, let me ask you first. Don't you think it would have been more graceful for Salman to have come out and said, I apologize for these comments and I shouldn't have said this, instead of hiding behind his father's coattails? His father's the one tweeting an apology and not him?
See, I don't think that we should sit in judgment here of anyone, and I think that it's his own conscience which will, or should allow him to either say sorry or not. But I think that he did make this mistake. He did say something out of count, and I think it was uncalled for, but yet he said it. And on the other hand, I do feel that I've known Salman for a very long time. We've grown up together. I've lived my childhood there, and they come up from a very cultured family. He's been a very obedient child, and I don't think that he treats women that way. And maybe in his own mindset, he was thinking that this could be the plight, and how bad could be the plight of women when they could be in this condition. But that is where he made that mistake. And I think he does make mistakes. He does put his foot in his mouth often. But, knowing him well, I know that he didn't really mean it, and he does uphold the dignity of women.
But Nagma, the point is, you are sitting here as his friend today, trying to make people understand what kind of a person he is. Firstly, he is a grown man, and he's an icon for millions of people. Certainly so many here in India. He's somebody that young people in particular look up to. He's an actor, And therefore, doesn't he have to weigh his words carefully instead of keeping on putting his foot in his mouth, which he seems to do with an alarming regularity, keeps getting into controversy? I mean, he has to take responsibility. He's 50 years old. And why should his father have to say sorry on his behalf?
No, Nidhi, I absolutely agree with you. He has to take responsibility. He has to take the onus. He has to understand that, today, Udta Punjab is also something exactly like, how people idolize and worship an actor and a superstar. And he is that today. A lot of the youth idolize him and worship him. And so he cannot speak his mind out just as, being... But look at the humane side of him. He is a guy who does, one of the guys in the industry probably who does a lot for for the poor, for the welfare of people. It's not that because I know him, that's why I'm saying. But yes, I know him from a very long time. I know him from childhood. I've done 2 movies with him. I've seen how he's behaved with me. I've seen how he still behaves. I mean, like he has done something wrong. There's no way 2 ways about it.
Well,
and
let me ask
I think
Anna
we should not sit
Vetikad.
in judgment here, because that shouldn't sum up his characterization. Or
Well,
we
Anna,
shouldn't
is that enough?
attack his character and say that.
No. So, Anna, is that enough? Do you believe that people are being judgmental about this today? That, it's a mistake that he made and we should let it pass? Or is this actually a far more serious issue? Because when an actor like him with that kind of following, that kind of idealization trivializes something like rape, it is a serious matter, isn't it?
Well, the thing is that, Nidhi, even if Salman apologizes, it won't really matter that much, because what really matters is the mindset that would prompt a human being to talk like this. He was basically trivializing rape in this comment, and later in the interview he also trivialized the interview in which he said this. He also trivializes women when he equates them with the various vices he has had in the past, including coffee, cigarettes and alcohol. Secondly, Salman is an extremely powerful man, and the fact that Nagma is sitting here supposedly criticizing him but actually putting up a semi-defense of him is a perfect indicator of that. But Nagma herself gave away the real issue over here when she said Salman cannot be speaking his mind. So her point is not that his mindset might be problematic, but that he should not say what's on his mind because he's a public figure. This here is the issue. Ever since December 2012, when the Indian media started getting extremely vocal about women's issues and covering India's women's rights movement on the front pages on a regular basis, ever since then, feminism has been the thing to pretend to adopt for many people in public life. And that's precisely what Nagma has done. She has not given an outright condemnation of Salman's remarks. But, Nidhi, let's be very careful about this. Let's not make this about Salman, because this is about a mindset that prevails in Indian society as a whole. And plenty of people in this country casually say things like, "Arey yaar, economy ka rape ho gaya," or "I went for a job interview and I was raped by the interviewers." So trivializing rape is very much a part of Indian society and Indian culture.
You're right, because if you hear that audio clip of Salman's interview carefully, there are a bunch of journalists who were sitting around him. And it's embarrassing and shameful to say that there were people on that, including journalists,
who laughed.
Who laughed. That's right, who laughed when he said that. And that is the mindset problem that you're talking about. Shaina, let me come to you, because you were among the first people today to say this was wrong. It's what he said was absolutely wrong and he should apologize for it. Are you disappointed that he hasn't come out himself to offer an explanation for this?
First, Nidhi, all of us who know Salman know that he's a great guy, he respects women, all of that. There may have been a wrong choice of words. The analogy of rape is clearly wrong, but his intent was not wrong. So I think what his father tweeted today actually sums it up the way it is, where he says undoubtedly what Salman said is wrong, the simile, example and the context, the intention was not wrong. Now, if we were to really debate as to what was said, Salman as a film star has a choice whether he wants to work 10 hours or 20 hours, whether he wants to toil or not. When somebody is raped, she really doesn't have that choice. of being raped, being exploited, etc. So I think that it would have probably been better if he said that, you know, it was like breaking a mountain and I had to toil so hard. That would have been a better example, a better simile. So I think it could be a slip of tongue, and as his father had tweeted later today, which I think is true, where he says to err is human and to forgive divine. Let's please accept that this could be an absolute slip of the tongue, a reference to context which needs to be put into place. But as a woman of this country,
he's 50
I
years
think
old.
it is
He can
about
come out
dignity.
and say it himself. He can tweet it himself. He's got so many followers on Twitter. He can, you know, Lalita Kumaramangalam, the chairperson of the National Commission for Women, is with us as well. And ma'am, you have actually said that you want him to apologize within 7 days, you know, failing which you'll actually call him in and send him a notice on this. Why is this apology so important in today's context?
You know, I don't know Salman at all personally, and I'm willing to give him credit if you say that he is pro-women, etc., respects women and all that, that's fine. But the point is that, especially if that is true, he had no business making an off-the-cuff remark like this. Off-the-cuff remarks normally reflect your mindset, and if that is true and it's considered true in every other case that I have heard of, then it does not display a non-patriarchal, very liberal attitude towards women. It's a very regressive and patriarchal attitude that comes out with these sort of words. One, and Salman is not some young spring chicken that if he's made a mistake, he can't say sorry himself. You know, people in that sort of, with that sort of the adulation that he commands, the sort of influence that he has over the actions, the minds of his fans, must think carefully before they talk. It's all very well to say that to err is human and to forgive is divine, but the women who get raped, they are not divinity. They are as human as Salman or anybody else is. In fact, I would say much more human, because they are generally much more disempowered, much more marginalized, and have to live with the sort of something that's happened to him, that's happened to them, that is almost impossible to get over. It was a very careless remark to make, and unfortunately I very strongly feel it's also a very callous remark to make. People who are in public life must think at least twice before talking. Don't make off-the-cuff remarks if you don't know, I mean, what's going to come out of your mouth. And Salman has made this sort of foot-in-the-mouth statement before. His own supporters would say it. I have nothing against him personally, but in this case, and I am only talking about this case, what he did is wrong. So what is the harm if he apologizes? If he is human, humans make mistakes. Say sorry, that's all. Why shouldn't one say sorry if you made a mistake?
And Nagma, I think that is the point, that, you know, people do say things, you know, things come out, you didn't mean it, but just take responsibility for it. I think at the end of the day, the question is, why doesn't he just take responsibility for it and you know, say that it was wrong and I shouldn't have said it, instead of this out of context. There's a context, I'm a nice guy. Everyone's coming and saying, oh, what a wonderful guy he is. He's so sweet. He's so, you know, nice to everybody. This is just, you know, poor Salman, you know, putting his foot in his mouth. Why doesn't he just take responsibility? Why should his dad have to do it? Nagma.
See, I do think, Nidhi, that he does take responsibility. It's not that he doesn't. What I meant when I said is that I know him since childhood, and I know that his upbringing has been very nice, and I know that he has nothing wrong with his mind, and I know that he I don't believe personally that he said something off the cuff. What I meant to say is that it must be his feeling that probably what a girl must be going through, because like I heard earlier on a channel, you know, the NCW chairperson saying something like, you know, if people take his side, they have something to gain. I have really nothing to gain out of Salman. I just know him since childhood, and yes, give him his time to say sorry, or give him his time. He has made a mistake. Let it sink into him and let him say. We are not here to sit in judgment, but yes, the remark was not nice, which I have already mentioned before. But to me, of what I know Salman, I think that he felt the plight of women at that moment. He could have been paid to do his role, but a lot of actors do get into the character and get into the skin of the character.
How on earth does he feel the plight of a woman who's being raped? I really don't understand that. He's shooting some rigorous wrestling scenes. He's shooting. I'm sorry, Nagma, I have to ask you. He's shooting some rigorous wrestling scenes. How does that compare to the plight of a woman who's being
definitely
raped?
not share the plight of a woman. If you're some horrible villain talking like this, it could be understood.
It's an atrocious
but when
comparison.
You're a great guy and you say something like this,
I think,
makes
you know, it's
the normal
being so
woman
exaggerated.
feel 100
He
times worse
is
than she would.
responsible. He should be responsible for what he's saying. He is a superstar. He is an icon. No doubt
Nidhi,
about it.
could
He
I come
shouldn't
in,
be
please?
saying things like that. No
Anna
doubt about it.
Anna
But he
Batikar.
can't be in the
Take a
skin of
small
somebody
point.
who's been raped. He can only feel that feeling.
Yes.